Happy Football Friday in Columbus, Ohio. Mick Walker on the other side of your screen. I'm Spencer Holbrook, and it's not really a Football Friday in Columbus, Ohio. Mick, the air is a little different. There's this gray over the sky because there's no Ohio State football. I think the world is sad without Ohio State football. What do you think, Mick?
I think a little bit, but also we got to give credit to our pals, Adam the King and Nicole Sheeran over at 10 TV. They got a full football Friday at high school games. I'm headed
Oh
down to
yeah,
I'm headed down to Cincinnati tonight for a game. Like we still got plenty of football Friday. Like Adam and Nicole will be up until 1 a.m. or something, grinding the tape, grinding the different videos for the 11 p.m. news or doing the morning news. So respect to those guys. They still got to cut it up.
yeah, and then you'll be out at a game, I'm sure. The recruiting reporters, I guess. Yeah, I just think of everything in terms of Ohio State football,
And
and there's
Ohio.
no. Well, yeah, in Ohio, the Bobcats do play tomorrow. It's actually very nice and sunny and warm and dry here in the greatest city on planet Earth. As we get set for Week 4 of college football, there's no Ohio State football. There's still a lot of good college football, and man, I'm just telling you, like, if you need me on Saturday, just don't. Okay, like I'm gonna, we don't get to sit at home and watch these games, except for like one or two Saturdays a year. And so I'm gonna kind of grow some roots and watch some football on the couch, make
Maybe
some good food.
Crack a Modelo or something.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. I will make some good food and have a good time. So I'm looking forward to it.
I'm very excited for it. And obviously, it gets started at Spencer. For anybody that wasn't listening on yesterday's show, Spencer, I believe, said he had a little money on Rice and versus Charlotte. He won his bet, I believe. He won it comfortably with Rice. I think he had plus 2.5 on the Owls. Came home, got some food, won some cheddar on food. So now I imagine he'll be looking at the games tonight. And we got a big Big Ten game tonight as well between Iowa and Rutgers.
Rice was the favorite, by the way.
Oh, wow.
At minus 2.5. Yeah, my former Ohio head coach Tim Albin didn't stand a chance against the glorified triple from Rice. So yeah, I mean we're cashing some stuff here. Maybe give out some hopeful winners on the other side of things. But Mick, not from a betting perspective, just from college football perspective as it pertains to Ohio State. I've got a story out at lettermenrow.com right now that breaks down what Ohio State fans should be watching. There's a lot of college football on this weekend. What game are you most excited to get some eyeballs on?
It's probably a little Big Ten bias, but I'm quite excited to see what's going on with this Illinois and Indiana game. Just because Ohio State's going to see Illinois here in a couple weeks, that's kind of the next big test for Ohio State, other than Washington on the road. Like you got to go into Champaign, and it's a good team with a good defense and a veteran quarterback. Like those are all the ingredients that you look for when you go, oh, this could be a potential upset team. And I still think Ohio State wins because I believe there's a little bit of a injury bug going through the Illini secondary that they got to kind of get figured out in the next couple of weeks. But that'll be fascinating to see. And it's another one of those opportunities of, is Kurt Cinetti's Indiana team for real, or is it just kind of the big bully when they face the little guys?
Yeah, that's a huge question, I think, heading into this because, Cignetti beat Michigan last year, which, there are some ranked teams that didn't do that. Let's just put it that way. Cignetti's team beat Nebraska to a pulp last year, which Nebraska wasn't great, but they gave Ohio State a challenge. But really, like Kurt Cignetti and the Hoosiers have made they've made a living almost on beating up on horrendous teams in the non-conference, beating up on the bottom of the Big Ten, and then beating decent teams in the Big Ten, but not being able to get over the hump against the top tier of the league. Michigan clearly was not the top tier of the league last year. So this is their first chance since that Ohio State game last year, in my opinion, to go up against a really good, really physical Illinois team or, top 10 program and top 10 team and try to get the job done. It's at prime time. You're going to watch it on NBC. All eyes will be on that game. There's a couple other matchups in that late slate, Florida, Miami, but I think the Gators are kind of a dead Gator walk-in. There's the Apple Cup, Washington State, Michigan State, USC is after that. So, like, you're not competing for eyeballs, and this is a top 20 matchup. So I think it's really interesting, and I'm really excited to see it. I think there's some parallels here, Mick, between a 3:30 game and a 7:30 game. The 3:30 game is number 22 Auburn at number 11 Oklahoma. And the 7:30 game obviously is number 9 Illinois at number 19 Indiana. For Ohio State purposes, I think you should more be willing to be tuned in for that 7:30 game Illinois Indiana, because you want to see what's going on in the Big Ten and what Ohio State's going to have to contend with on October 11th. But you're talking about teams that are fighting to be like team 3 or 4 or 5 in the Big Ten. And I think that Auburn Oklahoma game is the teams fighting to be like 4 or 5 or 6 in the SEC. And so I think there are some parallels there. We're going to find out about that beefy middle tier of each of these two major leagues on Saturday, and Ohio State fans get to kind of go stress-free and just watch it. If Auburn beats Oklahoma, all of a sudden you're talking about Auburn as maybe the 4th or 5th or 6th best team in the SEC. If Illinois beats Indiana, you've got to consider the Illini as like maybe one of the top 4 or 5 teams in the Big Ten. And if Indiana wins, you have to start to consider them in a new tier because, hey, maybe they're turning a corner and they're starting to beat these teams. So I think that there are some parallels there between those two ranked on ranked matchups that I really, really find intriguing.
Yeah, and if Illinois wins, I haven't looked at the rest of the schedule. I feel like that probably almost locks up like a top 10 matchup in Champaign when Ohio State goes out there here in a couple of weeks. I could be wrong. I know that's 3 weeks from now. We got to finish off this idle week, Washington, Minnesota, and then go to Champaign. I believe is how we got it set up.
Yeah, it's almost certain. Well, okay, so Illinois' schedule is this week they're at Indiana. Next week they host USC.
Yeah,
so
okay.
yeah, it's kind of a gauntlet here for the Illini. You're going to find out in this 4-week stretch what the Illini are made of, because after that stretch, after the Ohio State game, it's kind of smooth sailing for them. So
yeah,
I think it's interesting.
The other thing
this is a critical piece of that.
Yeah, I mean the other thing too is like we mentioned Indiana and how they went last season. They also kind of got Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame kind of patted him on the head here in the college football playoff and sent him home early as well. So that was another chance. Like again, like winning this game would just prove that they can at least beat some people that like I don't think they're expected to beat. I don't know the odds. We'll talk about that later with BetMGM. And I do appreciate the shout out to Auburn, Oklahoma, like the quad box when I have it up here at the house. So that'll have that on there. But I think, as most Ohio State fans will, the 3:30 window is going to be going to watching what's going on in Lincoln, Nebraska this weekend, just because that's a road test for Bryce Underwood. He didn't pass the first one all that well. He didn't pass it at all, really. Nebraska could be on the rise, could be like maybe a fringe playoff team the way Indiana was last year. And I know you spent a lot of time at least looking at that game, because whether that's for betting purposes or breaking it down or writing, I know you're very aware of what's going to go down between the Huskers and the Wolverines.
Yeah, that's the next one that we've got to talk about. Obviously, all eyes are going to be on that game. Like Ohio State fans are going to watch that in droves. For both sides, to be honest, Nebraska, Dylan Raiola, former future Ohio State quarterback Dylan Raiola, taking on Michigan, a team that he kind of called out in his recruitment when he was committed to Ohio State. So, he was excited to play the Wolverines. Well, now he gets them at home in a huge spot on CBS. That's one of the marquee spots for all of college football. I know that the idiots down south will be glued in on Auburn, Oklahoma. That'll be on my second screen. It might get the iPad treatment because I'm going to be full screen on the big screen for Michigan-Nebraska on Saturday at 3:30. Look, Bryce Underwood is a good player. He showed that he can use his legs when they allow him to. On Saturday against Central Michigan, the Chippewas had nothing for him. I think that game finished 63-3. They vaporized the Chippewas, but that's a MAC school. This is 2 weeks ago. Bryce Underwood was on the road in a hostile environment at night and faced a team that just confused him. And Michigan had nothing for Oklahoma other than a 75-yard touchdown run on a one-play 75-yard drive. They did not sustain drives at all in that game. And they lose 24-13 against a good defense. I don't think this Nebraska defense is as good as Oklahoma's defense, but I do think that the Huskers can give them enough fits to where we're going to find out if this Michigan offense can get some things corrected on the road in a hostile environment. I know people like to get their jokes in about Nebraska. Look, man, I've been to that place when they host a marquee opponent. It is loud. Those people know how to, how to be a proper home crowd for college football. That Nebraska can be one of the loudest environments in America. It is awesome when it's rocking there in Lincoln. I think this place is going to be on fire on Saturday. And that's what Bryce Underwood in this offense, again, did not handle a road crowd the first time very well. Did they learn from that? Can they correct that and put it together and show that, hey, they're going to be a force in the Big Ten this year? Because I think this is a huge test for them. You don't want to fall to 2-2. You can't fall to 2-2 with the schedule that Michigan still has coming up. And for the Cornhuskers, like, are they a real threat in the Big Ten? This would be a huge statement for Dylan Raiola to face a good Michigan defense. I think a really good Michigan defense, to be honest, and try to handle that. And he's not been good against ranked opponents. If you look at his stat breakdowns, and I know he was a true freshman, so like you give him some leeway there last year, but he was not good against ranked opponents. So if he's got something for Michigan, like, we're going to learn so much about both these teams from this game, and I'm super excited for it.
Yeah, and like you said, I think the Oklahoma defense is very good. But Brett Venables, good defensive coordinator. They got a good defensive line with a guy like Jay Jackson, who Ohio State recruited, really wanted. David Stone, obviously, they got a good transfer last year. I was the last name of Williams. I can't remember his first name at the moment. But, like, they have a defensive line that can kind of rough things up. It'll be interesting to see if Nebraska has guys that can do somewhat similar things. And, again, like you said, not all ranked teams. And Ohio State didn't beat Michigan last year. Just call a spade a spade. They lost to them in the shoe. Obviously, we all know what happened there. But, like, in a way, Michigan is still limited, despite the fact that they have Bryce Underwood. Like, I understand he's a really talented quarterback. Like, seeing him in high school, I fully believe that he's going to be a good player for the Wolverines. But they don't have a passing attack that's fully functional the way like even Oklahoma did, or like some of these other teams that could like challenge. So like whether that's Cincinnati with Brennan Sorsby, like are they still able to like function and beat a Big Ten team with like one hand tied behind their back offensively, essentially? So I don't know if that'll be fascinating to see, because obviously it gives. I imagine Matt Patricia and like Matt Carreri and Tim Wall and all these guys will have a good little eye on that, whether that's on the film or on the TV screen next week. So that's kind of the 3:30 window. And really, you and I have talked about this before, like the scheduling of the times for games, like in the Big Ten, and how it kind of it stinks sometimes. But I gotta applaud it when we don't have an Ohio State game to cover. It is pretty sweet to look at. You got Utah, Texas Tech at noon. You got the Ohio State, or you got Michigan, Nebraska at 3:30, and then like you said, that primetime night slot. You got Illinois, Indiana, all three different channels. Big Ten teams, like Big 12 teams, getting the eyeball. So I do appreciate that fact. And I don't know if the Utah, Texas Tech was where we're going to want to go next. I agree with you that the kickoff time there is criminal, but other than that, I don't have a whole ton of thoughts on that.
No, I'm not going to break that game down. Ohio State fans don't care. Look, I mean, watch it. It's in the story on LettermenRow.com that you should pay attention to it.
The new kick out in Utah is criminal. Like that should have gone to one of the other two games we talked about at this point. Playing a 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. local kick is just kind of crazy.
It's 10 a.m. and it's garbage. It's absolute garbage. It's the worst thing Fox has ever done for college football. I'm not kidding either. I don't care. Ohio State, Texas at noon, whatever. Like Ohio State, Penn State at noon, whatever. A top 20 matchup at 10 a.m. is criminal. It's garbage. Shame on you, Fox. Like, literally, I could swear right now. I actually want to swear right now, and I don't swear on this show. So, it is what it is. I'm not going to break down games for 45 minutes. This isn't a national college football show. It's just what matters to Ohio State. You should watch Texas Tech, Utah, and you should also keep an eye on Maryland, Wisconsin on Peacock at noon. Just because I want to know if the Badgers are a dead man walking, if Luke Fickell's going to get them off the mat, because Ohio State goes there in 3 weeks. So I want to know what's going on. If you want to go to any of these games, you can go to GameTime. It's the place to go for college football tickets. College football season, obviously it's back. That's why we're talking about this. Being at the tailgates and in the stands, there's nothing better than that. Then all of a sudden, you try to get tickets. That's a completely different story. Endless forms, login screens, prices jumping at checkout. You get the fees, the taxes, the fees, the taxes, the fees, the taxes. That's all you get there. All you want to do is be there in the moment, cheering on your team with other fans. Instead, you're getting slapped with fees. You're getting slapped with taxes just to get tickets. It's garbage. There are college football tickets for as low as $25 over at GameTime.co. Obviously not for Ohio State games. We just can't do that. I'm sorry. GameTime gives you abilities to customize your spot. It gives you zone deals. So you choose the section. GameTime selects the seats. You save money based on that. It's a really cool feature that they have. I'm looking right now at Ohio State Washington tickets. If you've already got your flights, don't have tickets, you can get in the door for like $140, which is a pretty good deal at Husky Stadium. It's one of the best places to watch college football in the country. And you can get tickets for $140. Then we'll give you $20 off. You use the code ON3 at checkout. ON3 at checkout at GameTime.co or on the GameTime app. Don't want to go out to Seattle? Shame, because Seattle is awesome. It's a great little city, or it's a great big city.
Great tickets still available for Ohio State and Minnesota too. I was just looking on the game. Yeah, I think we're both kind of expecting maybe can we say night game? It seems like it's not going to
I don't know. I'm not going to say that.
Noon kick, at least. It feels like it could be later, so we'll see.
I'm not I'm not putting a game time on that one yet, but I will go to game time to get tickets for it. There are tickets for as low as $139 for Ohio State, Minnesota, a week after that trip to Washington. You want to come watch the Buckeyes in Columbus? Go to gametime.co. We'll save you $20. Use the code ON3 at checkout, ON3 at checkout for $20 off your first purchase at gametime.co or in the GameTime app. Go to gametime.co or the GameTime app right now. ON3, ON3 for $20 off your first purchase. And now, Mick, let's pick some of these games with our friends over at BetGM. As you all know, we've teamed up with BetGM this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks with special offers for listeners each week. When you join BetMGM, you'll have access to a variety of parlay selection features like same-game parlays, live betting options, and more. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use the bonus code ON3, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here is how it works. I hope you're paying attention. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code ON3. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. You will receive up to a $1,500 bonus bet if your bet loses. Just make sure to use the bonus code ON3 when you sign up. Make this college football season one for the history books. Make it legendary. See BetMGM for terms. 21 and over. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369 in New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona, 1-800-327-5050 in Massachusetts, 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa, 1-800-981-0023 in Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only, subject to eligibility requirements. With rewards or non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days in partnership with the Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use the bonus code ON3 and get $1,500 first bet offer today. Mick, let's start at high noon. Utah hosting Texas Tech. Utah is a 3.5-point favorite in Salt Lake City at Rice-Eccles Stadium. Who you got?
I'll take the Utes. I like Devon Dampier and the offense they got running up there. They got a couple of first-round pick offensive tackles in Caleb Lomu and Spencer Fano that were both highly ranked recruits. And they always do well on defense. Was it Morgan Scalley? I know you've probably had to write that name down a couple times because of the Utah matchup in the Rose Bowl or something. They got a good defensive coordinator, good defense. Landon Barton was another highly ranked recruit for them. So linebacker. So I'll take the Utes out there in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, give me the points. Give me the points. I'll take Utah minus the 3.5. Another game that I'm on in the early slate, that MGM has Memphis getting a touchdown and the hook against Arkansas. I'm going Memphis plus 7.5. I think Arkansas kind of blew their chance at a big win last week on the road against Ole Miss, and I think that they're going to struggle going to Memphis. I think the Liberty Bowl might be rocking for that. I'm gonna take those points and take Memphis plus 7.5. Let's find other games that I have real American currency on, Mick.
Spencer's up on this year, folks. He's hit a couple of big ones this year. He was showing me the numbers, giving me the performance breakdown before the show. He's doing well in the year. I'm not saying he's a betting expert, but I'm saying if you like the bet he's saying and it aligns with something you're thinking, I wouldn't mind throwing some currency on it.
I'm taking Oklahoma for my hate watch. It's not a secret. I do not like Hugh Freeze. I do not like Auburn. The Auburn fans have made it known that they don't really care for me either. So, we'll just take Oklahoma to cover the I got him a little earlier in the week. Right now, BetMGM has him as a 7-point favorite. I think they'll beat Auburn by more than a touchdown. I don't trust Jackson Arnold against Brent Venables. I've got Nebraska on the money line against Michigan. I don't know how Michigan's going to handle that. I don't know if I trust Michigan's offense, and I think the defense has taken a little bit of a step back this year with that defensive line kind of turning over the roster. What are you feeling in this Michigan-Nebraska game? Michigan given 1.5.
Yeah, I like the Huskers as well. Money line, maybe that's probably the best way to go about it if you think they're going to win. But like you said, losing multiple first round, I understand they beat Ohio State on the field each of the past 4 years, but it helps to have 3 straight years of all those years. I believe they had first round defensive linemen, so I don't think anybody on that defensive line right now is that caliber of player. So obviously you lose those type of guys, and obviously Wing Martindale's a good defensive coordinator. They got good players, but I think there's something that Matt Rule's got cooking a little bit. I don't know if I subscribe to the whole Matt Rule year 3 thing where he's just going to blow the Huskers up into this mega program, but I'll trust them in Lincoln to get it done with Dylan Raiola and those guys kind of running the system and trying to beat Bryce Underwood and the Wolverines.
Another play that I have, we didn't really talk about this game because I don't think it's worth mentioning like a lot of people do. I've got Missouri minus the 9.5 against South Carolina. Give me the points. I don't I don't like this South Carolina team. They lost 10 starters on defense from last year. They don't look very good offensively. Their number one receiver is just a glorified track star who can kind of catch the ball. Lenore Sellers is banged up. I'm going to take Missouri to win by 10. I think that's a home game for them. Oddly enough, I've been to the Missouri football stadium. It's a cool little place. It's not the biggest stadium in the SEC, but it's pretty awesome there. I'm going to take Missouri to cover the 9.5. Are we seeing the end of the Billy Napier era on Saturday night, Mick? Are you taking Miami to cover the 9.5?
Are we seeing it? I feel like we've already probably saw it. I think we saw that a couple weeks ago in Gainesville. You don't lose to UCF and kind of make it through that after the way last season went and how it's been the previous years. But I do think Miami and Mario Cristobal, same thing with kind of Eli Drinkwitz. I think Eli Drinkwitz knows that when you get an SEC team in Como that you think you can beat up on, you beat up on them a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised, like you said, if they run up the score on South Carolina a little bit. Mario Cristobal knows whether Billy Napier is going to be there or not. If you can beat down on the Gators for as much as you can, kind of go out on the recruiting trail in December and in the spring and in January and just be like, hey, you remember that 40 burger we put up on the Gators? Why don't you come on down to Miami and Coral Gables? So I think he's going to try and run that up there a little bit as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like 45-star recruits going to Miami this weekend. So don't mess it up, Canes. We've seen this before. Don't mess it up this time. The main attraction, Mick, 7:30 NBC, Indiana hosting Illinois. Illinois getting 6.5. I'm on the Illini plus 6.5. I don't understand this line. Do we trust Indiana against good teams? I don't. It's nothing against the Hoosiers. I trust Brett Bielema. I trust Luke Altmaier. I trust their defense. Like I might even take Illinois plus 200 on the money line. You know what? I'll take Illinois plus 200 on the money line. You gonna play it safe, get to 6.5, or are you gonna take them on the money line?
I'd throw it on the money line. I agree with you. I'm on the Illini here. It's weird to say, and I don't say this to gas up a former Bobcat in your eyes and in front of your face and your ears and all that, but I do think Curtis Work is probably a little bit of a better player in college than Fernando Mendoza is right now. I think he had the reps. He probably should have won a MAC title in Athens. He was darn close a couple of times. Had a couple good teams down there and with the Bobcats. So I think he was a good player. I think Fernando Mendoza can be a good player. Heck, he might end up on our Steelers after this season. I don't know where he'll get drafted, but I just don't trust them against the team like Brett Bielema. If it gets close down to the end, I feel like Brett Bielema is going to get the Illini kind of through that and to the victory.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Another play that I've got for the late slate, if you're a sicko, want to stay up late and watch some ball, Austin Ward's Wyoming Cowboys are playing Colorado. Colorado's offense has not been good. Wyoming's defense is very good. I'm not taking a side on that. I'm just taking the total. I'm going to go under 44.5 at minus 115. Nice little bet there. Under 44.5. I just don't see either of these teams getting enough offense against each other. Wyoming because it's inept offensively, and Colorado because it's going to play a really good Wyoming defense. So I'm going to take the under 44.5. And then I don't have a play on USC Michigan State. I'm not going to give one out, but USC is an 18.5 point favorite. Michigan State playing an 11 o'clock local time kick. That is not good news for the Spartans. If I had a lean there, I would probably say USC in a blowout, but I can't be certain there.
Yeah, it's to a lesser extent, it's kind of the Kurt Signetti, like, can you beat a good team type of thing. I don't know if Michigan State's necessarily the best team in the country or anything, but they're probably a bowl team. Like, can Lincoln Riley get them in there? And, like, I know Jonathan Smith's a good coach with Aiden Childs at quarterback. Like, can they come in there and cause some problems for the Trojans? That'll be interesting. So, like you said, I'm probably not staying up to watch all that one. Not staying up.
I will.
You probably will be.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be staying up to watch all that one. I'm going to get to bed and, kind of relax that on Saturday because we don't really get to do a lot of regular sleep patterns during football season. So I'll be fascinated to see what the score is on that one on Sunday morning. Before we get out, you got to pick the Bobs game. Who the Bobcats got? I know it's an FCS team.
They face Gardner Webb. There's no line.
Chris Reichert, shout out Gardner Webb head coach. You can't.
They'll be.
What do you say?
The Bobcats will be fine.
The Bobs will be fine.
So, all right. Well, that's the show. We broke down a lot of what matters to Ohio State as the Buckeyes are off. We're going to watch a lot of college football. Sunday or Monday, we're going to react to some of this stuff, what we learned about college football that can be, lessons learned for Ohio State. And hopefully you guys all tune in for that. Thanks for being here to tune in for this. That's Mick Walker right there. I'm just Spencer Holbrook. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks to our partners over at GameTime. Go get your tickets, gametime.co or GameTime or the GameTime app using the code ON3, and then use the code ON3 when you sign up for BetMGM. I'll give you a nice little reward. Thanks to our partners there at GameTime and BetMGM. For Mick Walker, I'm just Spencer Holberg. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next time.